Here we have the Samsung Galaxy Note 9. I got it in pink because pink's my favorite color. Pink and purple are my favorite colors. I thought that was really awesome. I know some people weren't happy that there wasn't a black color choice. I'm going to do a review today, and it's going to be a little different than most reviews. Hopefully there's plenty of different reviews out there if this doesn't cut it for you. But I'm going to talk about 3 things I hate. A little background of what I look for and I like in a phone. I am a sort of a smartphone fanatic. I get a new phone at least once a year. I spend way too much money on it. Coming from the Note 8, which is right here, I was curious to see if this was enough of an upgrade, right? It's $1,200 and this was working just fine. But the reason I did the upgrade, even though this phone to me was pretty much perfect, was because this had a slightly bigger battery. I just wanted that extra battery life. This I was having to recharge maybe once a day because I am a heavy user. And it seemed worth it for me because I'm going to sell this phone and whatever. So, and it was pink. So here's what I'm going to talk about today. This is the best phone on the market. Hands down, Samsung Galaxy Note 9 is the best phone you can buy. Apple, Android, whatever. There is no better phone. Now, why is that? Well, number one, Samsung's big handicap back in the day was operating system. You had a little bit of lag. After one update, usually they were really, really crappy. They fixed that. And so now it's pretty great software. It's not quite as good as the software on the Pixel, but it's pretty darn great. It's almost unnoticeably different. And the Pixels have had their own problems. And then it's Samsung software, or Samsung hardware. So you have the Samsung build quality. You have expandable storage. You have a pen input. Why is this the only phone on the market with pen input? It's insane. It's so useful. It's so great. You have wireless charging. You have great waterproofing. You have fantastic cameras. You have a headphone jack. It's ridiculous that I even have to say that. So what's my review going to be about? I'm going to tell you the 3 things I absolutely hate about this phone. And as you're thinking about whether you should upgrade to it, or whether, say if you're on a Note 8, you should just keep your Note 8, maybe this can answer that. The number one thing I absolutely hate about this phone, the fingerprint sensor. Who designed this? What is wrong with you? I know everyone complained about the fingerprint sensor on the Note 8. Let's take a look at the Note 8. Okay, fingerprint sensor is here. Now you notice that it's right next to the camera flash, and it's vertical. So when you come to put your finger on it, holding the phone, your finger naturally is long. So your finger touches it, boom. Now if you miss, you're going to smudge the camera flash. Who cares? You're not touching the lenses. After about 2 days with this phone, my hand just naturally went bing, bing every time. I didn't miss, I didn't hit the camera flash, and you can even see from the fingerprints on here that's pretty true, even though I just smudged that a little bit. But never touching the lens. It was actually a fantastic place to put the fingerprint sensor on the back. Would I have preferred it to be here? Yeah, probably it would have been easier to kind of do. Anyway, what's wrong with this one? Well, first of all, they moved it to the middle and they put it sideways. So the natural way to use it with your finger is like this. Who holds their phone like that? Nobody holds their phone like that. I don't hold my phone like that. It's kind of ridiculous. So you have less of an area to work with. I'm not really registering a lot of false positives or having a lot of problems with that. It's just kind of awkward. And then the other thing that's awkward is they put it right below the main lens. What? So when you go and you kind of, when you kind of miss, you're touching the lens. Why? This was perfect. This was absolutely fine. I realize why people freaked out about it before it came out, but in practice, this was perfect. This is not. This is actually responding to criticism about this and getting it dead wrong. If you're going to put this here, this should be sitting like about right here. It's nowhere near that, and then you just tap. But this is it's just really annoying. And honestly, as I think about the phone, I'm loving the battery life, but I hate that. I hate it, and I use it 500 times a day. And so it makes me want to return this phone. Okay. What's the next big thing? I'm going to cut away to this, but it's the camera. A lot of lag on the camera app. There. So see how the camera just kind of freezes a lot? Does that all the time. And I've tried it on SD card. Right now it is set to internal storage. Oh, there it is again. Look at that. Just constantly freezing. It never happened with the Note 8, and I always recorded straight to the SD card. So something is really like kind of wonky with this photo app. It's, the camera's way better. The processing it's doing is way closer to Google Photos, but it just doesn't, it's not right. And I could use the Google Camera app on the Note 8, which you can't do on the Note 9 yet. I'm sure someone will figure it out, although they hadn't figured it out for the S9. So it worries me because that Google camera was great to have on here. It was a huge selling point of this phone.
So let's talk about the third thing I hate, and this is going to kind of blow everybody's mind because I think everybody thinks everybody hates this, and that's Bixby. Bixby 1.0 was actually super useful on the Note 8. It's a terrible assistant for things like asking it information from the web and to do some of the tasks that Google Home and Alexa do. But for actually manipulating the phone and settings within the phone and stuff like that, it was brilliant. Bixby 2.0 cannot do 99% of the things that Bixby 1 could do, and it's nuts. Watch this.
Okay, so I've got the Note 9 here and the Note 8 here. I'm just going to show you real quick. Take me to notification settings for applications.
There is no notification.
Okay, so Bixby just tries to tell me, take me to notification settings for apps.
I can't seem to find any notifications.
So she just thinks like she's going to look for some notifications. On the Note 8, Bixby 1, take me to notification settings for apps. Oh, right where I wanted to go. Look at that. New Bixby is trash. There's tons more that I've done. Let me see if I can go back in my old. Okay. I want to set a new ringtone for my friend Knowlton. I want to set a new ringtone for my new friend Knowlton. Look at that. Ringtones, nothing. So, I mean, at least this is trying and it's getting you to stuff. What Bixby used to be good at was an assistant for your phone. This is just trash. Like why is this so different? I want to update contact information for my mom. Which one? Edit a contact right there. Okay. I want to update contact information for my mom.
Oh, I'm not seeing any contacts like that.
So I can go to contacts, I guess. Edit a contact. See, that's going to take me, oh, and look, there's my mom right up front. There's mom right up front. And there's this garbage. Just totally useless.
Also, I lied. There's a bonus fourth thing that I hated.
Productivity-wise, sharing this phone screen to a PC via Samsung SideSync was absolutely wonderful and worked fantastically. Now, Samsung has decided to deprecate the SideSync app. They're not supporting it anymore. So if you go to the Play Store on it, it says your device is incompatible. You can't install it. What the heck, Samsung? Oh, but we replaced it with Samsung Flow. Now, Samsung Flow doesn't really work. It's laggy, it uses Wi-Fi Direct, so you have to share it directly with one computer. I have 3 computers around my house, and it was nice to just bounce between them and reconnect my phone. This is error prone, it barely works. If you read the reviews, people hate it, people love side sync. And the Note 8 right there can install and run it. Okay, I gotta complete that account setup. I'm gonna skip that. And Note 8 can install and run side sync, and it's wonderful. The sort of last thing that bothers me about this phone, and I'm 6'7", so I'm not a small person. I have gigantic hands. I realize the race is always to make something bigger. This was almost too big. Frankly, the Note 7 was probably the perfect size. This is a little bigger with a case. I've noticed that these feel so much bigger. And it's just getting to the point where this doesn't need to be this big. It could be thicker. I wouldn't mind if it was, if it was this much thicker, right? And it was only this tall, because then my hand could comfortably reach. I'm to the point where my thumbs hurt using this. And so I really, really wish that they made these phones a little smaller. I want the pen input, so I stick with the Note. But I don't know, using the keyboard from over here, my thumb hurts at the end of the day. My bones ache. So you end up kind of holding the phone like this, and you look like an old person typing on it. That's not what I want. Now, I think there might be an opportunity here for Samsung to put in something that registers which hand I'm using for it. So it shrinks the keyboard to this small area right here, so I could easily swipe type. I don't understand people who regular type in 2018, but the swipe typing is great. I'd like it if I could shrink the phone screen to only use here. I don't know why I need the big screen then, other than I love the pen, but I think that's something that needs to happen. Phones can get thicker, you can put more battery in and make it thicker, but it doesn't need to be any bigger. I'm a giant person, I love my big phones. It doesn't need to be bigger. This is good enough. That's my review. I think if you're somebody who's going through all the battery you can in a day, the Note 9 is a great phone. I'm already loving that feature. I'm probably going to stick with it despite these 3 things I hate. However, if you're fine with the battery life on the Note 8, it's more than capable, and frankly, I think the fingerprint sensor, the ability to use Google Camera, the ability to use side sync, and just the camera not being laggy like it is on here. Right now, I would say my recommendation is to stick with the Note 8 if that battery doesn't matter for you, or you don't need a pink phone, or you just don't need the bragging rights of saying I need the newest phone. Anyway, so I've never done a phone review before. Those are my 3 things after having this phone and using it as my daily driver for a couple weeks. What do you think?